Despite 20 professional wins and nearly a decade of dominating the LPGA Tour, Brooke Henderson still hasn't reached the #1 spot in the women's world golf rankings. Year after year, she's come this close, but something always seems to hold her back. So what's stopping one of Canada's greatest athletes from being the best female golfer in the world? Is it bad luck, fierce competition, or something deeper? Let's dive into the journey of a golfer who's chasing that elusive top ranking. Brooke Henderson was born on September 10, 1997, in the quiet town of Smiths Falls, Ontario, Canada. Her parents, Dave and Darlene, were both avid golfers, and they introduced Brooke and her older sister, Brittany, to the sport as soon as they could hold a club. Golf wasn't just a weekend hobby for the Henderson family. It was a way of life. By age 12, Brooke was already showing extraordinary talent, dominating junior golf tournaments and turning heads with her poise and power on the course. She wasn't just playing golf, she was living it. Brooke trained at Rideau Lakes Golf and Country Club, where her disciplined work ethic became the talk of the club. She won the Canadian Women's Amateur in 2013, proving she wasn't just another talented young golfer, but a future star. The following year, she was runner-up at the U.S. Women's Amateur and earned the top spot as the world's highest-ranked female amateur golfer in 2014. Brooke was now on the radar of the golf world, and her potential seemed limitless. The choice to skip college golf and go pro at 17 was bold, but for someone this gifted, it felt inevitable. Brooke's transition to professional golf wasn't just smooth. It was like she was born for it. By 2015, she had already won her first professional tournament, the Cambia Portland Classic, by an 8-shot margin. That's not just a win, that's a statement. At just 17, she became the third youngest player to ever win an LPGA Tour event. If people hadn't heard of Brooke Henderson before, they certainly did now. Her meteoric rise was unstoppable, and the golf world took notice. But Brooke wasn't done. In 2016, she achieved what many golfers spend their entire careers chasing, her first major victory at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. At just 18, Brooke became the youngest player to ever win that major. She won it in style, defeating the world #1, Lydia Ko, in a playoff. This victory not only made her a major champion, but also catapulted her to second in the world rankings. Canada celebrated her triumph, and Brooke became a national hero. She wasn't just competing with the best, she was beating them. By 2019, she'd notched 9 LPGA Tour wins, becoming the most decorated Canadian golfer of all time, male or female. Loving the story so far? Then get your driver out and smash that subscribe button. While Brooke was establishing herself as one of the LPGA's brightest stars, she wasn't alone in the race for golf supremacy. The LPGA Tour is home to some of the most talented and fiercely competitive golfers in the world. Players like Lydia Ko, Nelly Korda, Jin Young Ko, and Ariya Jutanugarn are not just good, they're exceptional. Each of these women has, at one point or another, held the top spot in the world golf rankings. And they've all been serious roadblocks in Brooke's quest to become world #1. The thing about golf is, it's not just about playing great. It's about being great consistently. The LPGA isn't forgiving. One slip-up, one bad tournament, and you're out of the running. For Brooke, it's not just about beating 1 or 2 great players. It's about consistently being better than a whole roster of world-class golfers week in and week out. The likes of Lydia Ko and Nelly Korda have had their time at the top, and they aren't ready to relinquish it easily. To break through, Brooke will have to find a way to not just compete, but dominate in the face of relentless competition. And with every LPGA season, that competition only grows more fierce. Golf isn't just a game of physical skill, it's a brutal mental grind. While some athletes can thrive on raw power and finesse, golfers live or die by what goes on between their ears. For Brooke, the mental side of the game has been one of her biggest assets. Her calm, focused demeanor on the course is legendary. Unlike some of her more expressive competitors, Brooke rarely lets her emotions get the better of her. She's steady, composed, and relentless, the kind of player who doesn't blink when the pressure is at its highest. But when you've been in the game as long as Brooke has, especially at such a young age, mental fatigue can creep in. She's been chasing the #1 spot for years now, and that can wear on any athlete. The constant expectation to win, the pressure to represent your country, and the knowledge that she's just shy of reaching the pinnacle, it all adds up. Has the strain of being so close, yet so far, affected her drive? Or does she still have the mental toughness to break through? That's the million-dollar question. At her best, Brooke has shown she can handle pressure like few others. but the longer she goes without hitting number one, the more that pressure mounts. Can she turn it up a notch mentally to finally push past the competition? One of the most endearing aspects of Brooke Henderson's career has been her close-knit relationship with her family, particularly her sister Brittany, who has served as her caddy, and her father, who has been her coach. This family dynamic has been a huge part of her success and has given her the support system that many athletes can only dream of. But in the world of elite sports, sometimes comfort can be a double-edged sword. While her family has been instrumental in her rise, there's always the question, could a fresh perspective help her break through to that next level? Golf legends like Tiger Woods changed coaches multiple times during their careers to keep evolving. When you've been working with the same coach, especially a family member, it can be difficult to challenge yourself to go beyond what's familiar. Perhaps a new voice, someone with a different approach or strategy, could be what Brooke needs to push her game from great to undeniable. That's not to say Brooke should walk away from her family's support, far from it. But maybe integrating new methods, ideas, or techniques could give her that extra edge. Brooke has always been willing to adapt and grow, and shaking up her routine might be the catalyst she needs to finally leap from top contender to world number one. Growth often comes from discomfort, and maybe that's exactly what she needs right now. In recent years, Brooke has been dealing with an upper back injury, and that's no small thing. In golf, your back is everything. If it's not right, neither is your game. Brooke's back injury has certainly played a part in her recent struggles, forcing her to manage pain and adjust her swing. Golf is grueling both mentally and physically, and there's never enough time to rest fully when you're competing at the highest level. Brooke's injury could be one of the silent factors holding her back from that top spot. Even if she's 95% healthy, that 5% could be the difference between a good tournament and a winning one. So, what does the future hold for Brooke Henderson? She's already achieved so much that calling her career anything less than legendary would be unfair. But to be the best, to go down as one of the greatest female golfers of all time, she needs that number one ranking. For Brooke, it's going to come down to three key things. 1. Health. She has to stay healthy, and managing her back injury will be critical to maintaining her form. 2. Team. Maybe it's time to shake things up. A new coach, a new approach, something to get her out of her comfort zone. 3. Mental toughness. If Brooke can tap into that next level of mental toughness, that killer instinct, she has everything it takes to finally grab that elusive number one ranking. Brooke Henderson is already one of the greats, but her story isn't over yet. With a few adjustments, she could finally break through and claim the top spot she's been chasing for years. If she does, it'll be a moment not just for her, but for all of Canadian sports history. Whether Brooke Henderson reaches the number one ranking or not, there's no denying she's already a legend in Canadian sports and one of the most successful golfers in LPGA history. She's been rewriting the record book since her teenage years, and every season she adds more accolades to her resume. She's a role model not just for aspiring golfers in Canada, but for young athletes worldwide. One of Brooke's standout traits is her consistency. Year after year, she's been able to perform at the highest level on the LPGA Tour. From 2015 to today, the only year she didn't win an LPGA event was 2020. And honestly, who's counting 2020 anyway? To be this reliable in a sport as unpredictable as golf speaks volumes about her talent and work ethic. Brooke's legacy goes beyond just wins and titles. She's proven you can be grounded, humble, and incredibly successful all at once. Her close-knit family dynamic and genuine connection with fans have set her apart from many others on tour. She may not always be the loudest, but she's a constant presence on the leaderboard. And you don't need to scream to be heard in golf. You just need to win. So, what will it really take for Brooke Henderson to finally claim the world number one ranking in women's golf? It's not about questioning her talent. That's a given. But if you look at the sport from a competitive standpoint, timing, health, and a sprinkle of luck all play their roles in reaching the top of the world golf rankings. The first key factor, health. Brooke has battled through a nagging upper back injury, which can wreak havoc on a golfer's game, especially over time. Staying injury-free will be crucial for her to perform consistently and avoid setbacks that could knock her out of contention for the top spot. Then there's the issue of competition. Brooke isn't up against your average weekend warriors. Her opponents are players like Nelly Korda, Jin Young Ko, and Lydia Ko, who are constantly in peak form and aiming for the top spot themselves. To surpass them, Brooke will need to be at her absolute best, not just in one tournament, but across an entire season. Lastly, Brooke might need to take some calculated risks. She's a smart, methodical player, but sometimes playing it safe can keep you just short of greatness. Taking more aggressive approaches when the opportunity arises could give her that extra edge in the big moments that make or break a world number one. When you're chasing that elusive top spot, sometimes you've got to go all in. As we've followed Brooke Henderson's remarkable career, it's clear that she has already secured her place as one of Canada's greatest athletes and as a force in women's golf. From her first professional win at 17 to becoming one of the most successful golfers in Canadian sports history, Brooke's accomplishments are nothing short of incredible. Yet, there's still one achievement that continues to elude her: the #1 ranking in the women's world golf rankings. Brooke's road to the top has been paved with victories, records, and fierce competition, but also a few hurdles, like injuries and the relentless field of top-ranked players on the LPGA Tour. But if there's one thing we know about Brooke, it's that she's not someone who gives up easily. Her resilience, consistency, and ability to adapt have kept her in the conversation as one of the world's best, even without that coveted top spot. Will she make that final push to world #1? Only time will tell. But if history is any indicator, Brooke Henderson's journey isn't over yet. At just 26 years old, she still has plenty of golf ahead of her. Whether it's this season, next, or further down the line, her passion for the game and her competitive spirit make it hard to bet against her. Regardless of whether she reaches #1, Brooke's legacy is already set in stone. She's inspired countless young golfers, put Canada on the global golfing map, and shown that true greatness comes from more than just rankings. It's about grit, determination, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. And if she does eventually take the top spot, it'll be the crowning achievement of a career that's already overflowing with greatness. For now, we watch, we cheer, and we wait. Because the final chapter of Brooke Henderson's story is still unfolding. And when that chapter is written, it's going to be one for the history books.